welcome to my channel. Welcome to today's video. Today we're going to be doing a foundation review and wear test on this NABLA Close-Up Futuristic Foundation. Here's what the little box looks like. So if that sounds good to you, keep watching. Please like this video and subscribe if you haven't yet. Stick around. I do upload twice a week on Sundays and Thursdays. And with all that, let's get started talking about the details of this foundation. All right, so I did buy this on Beauty Bay. That's the only place that I know of that NABLA is available. I think they have a few products on Ulta, but not like a full complete line. Anyways, here is what the box looks like. It's nice and small. And then the little bottle here. This is my favorite kind of packaging, if I'm quite honest with you. It's sleek, it's plastic, it's easy to carry around. I love the kind of dropper here. I feel like it's still sanitary, but you can control how much you dispense out of it. So this is 1 fluid ounce despite its size, which again is just a plus for me. I got the shade medium 10, so M10, which I am wearing it now. It's a little bit dark, but we're gonna keep on keeping on. And then it does come in 27 shades, I think. That's the amount of shades I saw on Beauty Bay, and it's $35. So I wouldn't say it's drugstore pricing, clearly like more in the $15 range, but it's still up there for this. I was a little surprised when I saw the price. I did not pay full price for this. I'm pretty sure I picked it up when Beauty Bay was having some sort of sale, but here's where we're at with this. Let's kind of just talk about the claims of this foundation. All right, so the NABLA Close-Up Foundation, it's supposed to be a medium coverage, and then it says here on the website, suitable for all skin types, Close-Up Futuristic Foundation offers weightless and buildable coverage that lasts all day long. Made with innovative coated pigments, this extremely blendable formula evens out skin tone for an incredibly soft-focused, naturally luminous matte finish. So a little confusing to me, natural, luminous, matte, all three of those as a finish. We're gonna see. I will talk about this more just in my first impressions. I consider this more of a natural matte finish. It is vegan, it's cruelty-free. It says that it's one of their favorite foundations for combination skin, and then one of their best foundations for mature skin. So my skin type, I mean, I am 32. I wouldn't say I have mature skin just yet. I think my skin's in pretty good condition, and I would consider myself having normal, leaning, dry skin. So if that's combination, I guess you can consider that. I do get a little oily in the T-zone area. That's to be expected just wearing throughout the day. If there's anyone who doesn't get oily in their T-zone, like please leave me a comment and let me know how you even handle that, because I just have to imagine that throughout the day, everyone's having some oils come through, but maybe you're that dry and I do not envy you. Anyways, we are going to be doing a lot today. So I'm going to be applying this foundation to my face. Then we'll just talk about my first impressions after I apply the rest of my makeup. I'll be doing a 4-hour check-in outside in natural daylight. There's usually a little cameo from my dogs. We'll just have to wait and see. I'll be inserting in some swatches, comparing this shade M10 to some other shades that I have in my collection. And then we'll be going into my final thoughts at the 8-hour plus check-in mark. We'll just kind of see what time I get to. But that's going to be today's video. So let's just pan over to me applying this foundation to my face. So I have you pulled in closer. I always have all my skincare on, moisturizer, sunscreen, no primer, because I'd rather just see how the foundation wears without primer rather than wondering if it's the primer that's making it look bad, if it heads in that direction. I'd rather add a primer later when testing it a second or third time to just see. But let's get started. So I have the shade M10, probably a little dark. I think I purchased this more in the summertime. And we're gonna put on the back of my hand here. So it's not very runny, just a little bit, not too much. And I think we're gonna do half with a brush. I have my Rare Beauty brush here, and then half with a sponge, because in the directions, it didn't really specify whether to use a brush or a sponge. I'm assuming that means you can use either, and we're gonna see which one looks better. right, this is a little dark for me, but I think once I blend it out, we'll make it work. It won't be too noticeable. I'm gonna blend this down the neck a little, just so we don't have that foundation mask look, since this is a little bit darker. Do forehead. So there's already some brush marks, so I think that I'll probably prefer the sponge, or we'll just need to go over this to kind of smooth it out. I'm gonna do the sponge side first, and then we'll smooth out this side just to let it dry down a little. All right, we're gonna go in with the sponge. I'm using my Flower Beauty sponge. I do like this one quite a bit. All right, and then here is the sponge side. It's already looking just so much smoother. I'm for sure gonna go over the side with the sponge and just smooth out any of those brush marks. I also feel like I used less with the sponge, which is interesting because normally the sponge soaks it up more, but I was able to just spread it around my face more, whereas the brush didn't really spread the product. Now we have the foundation all smoothed out. It does blur my pores fairly well. I would say this is a true medium coverage with a natural finish, which is exactly what they say. It is more of a natural matte finish rather than a natural dewy finish. So if you prefer your foundations leaning a little bit more dewy, you won't like this one. And off the bat, I mean, I don't have anything bad to say about this. I think it gives a nice medium coverage. It just off the bat reminds me of the Maybelline, the Matte and Poreless. I love that foundation. It's one of my top 5 foundations. I've actually finished a bottle, which is rare to say. It's kind of just giving me that impression right now. But I'm gonna go off camera. I'm gonna finish up my makeup, just put my glasses on, gather my thoughts, and I'll be back to just talk about my first impressions. Rest of my makeup's on. Anything that I'm wearing on my face is always listed in the description box below, but let's just talk about this foundation. So I'm just like on the fence about it. My main hesitation, I think, from just fully liking this foundation is it just feels a little bit dry. So I didn't even put any powder products on my face. I did only cream bronzer, cream highlight, and cream blush, which you can't really see anymore, but I didn't powder on top of it. The only powder I used was my Charlotte Tilbury powder to powder on my under eyes over my concealer to just set that, but it's still just, it's kind of looking dry. And I'm just wondering, this is why I like to do the wear test, because I'm hoping that in 4 hours, kind of once my oils come through, it just looks a lot more natural and more of a finish that I prefer. I do prefer a dewy natural finish rather than more of a dry natural finish. I don't like glowy. I don't want to look sweaty. I want to look natural, just like that lit from within. And right now I'm just feeling a little bit flat. So we're gonna come back in 4 hours, check it out in natural daylight, but that's kind of where I am right now. It does say that this foundation is best for combination skin, and also it's their best foundation in their line for mature skin. So maybe I'm just not the demographic for that. We're just gonna have to wait this one out and see. Like I said, I'm just on the fence. Like, it can go 50-50 right now. I could really see this being a dependable foundation for people, where it's just one of those almost that like it gets lost in the back of your drawer, but every time you pull it out, it works exactly how you remember it to work. I could see it being that kind of foundation, but right now there's just something lackluster in it, and I'm hoping that it pulls through by the rest of the day. The shade is a little bit off. Again, I got the shade M10. I think if I went down a shade, it probably would have been a little bit better, even 2 shades maybe, but we're gonna roll with it. I'm wearing kind of a higher shirt. You can't tell, hopefully too much, and I don't think that my dogs will judge me. So I'm going to continue on my day. Right now it is 1 o'clock, and I will see you all in my 4-hour check-in in natural daylight. Hello everyone, welcome to the 4-hour check-in. So it's about 5 o'clock right now, and here's what the foundation's looking like. I have to say, normally like my bronzer is usually more faded than this, but still there. The foundation, I mean, you can just see, like, it just looks so dry. Like, it's emphasizing all the texture on my cheek. And then I even noticed here, like, on my nose, I normally don't get a collection of foundation in my nose like that. Like, that's not something typical for me, but it's collecting, like, in that little crevasse there. Here's what the forehead's looking like. I just think right now, thank you, Simba. All the dogs want to join me. I just think right now that the foundation's just very dry. I said that before, but it's not really. I was hoping my natural oils would kind of come through and it would really just save this foundation, but I'm not feeling that way so far. It hasn't gotten worse. It hasn't gotten more dry, but it hasn't gotten better. I'm not sure. I mentioned this in the beginning. I have normal leaning dry skin. If you have dry skin, I have to think this is just going to be an absolute fail. There's just no way it's going to cling to every single dry patch. It's said that it's best for combination skin, but even then, I think only if you have oily skin is this going to really be a foundation that you want. I mean, here it is on my skin again. Like, normally my skin does not look this textured. I feel like my skin looks a lot older. That's a donkey. He's got something to say. My skin normally doesn't look this old. So I don't like how this is looking so far. I'm going to continue to wear it for the next 4 hours, just see where we're at, make sure that we just complete the day. Don't want to leave this half done, but I'm not really liking this. I'm not used to such a matte looking foundation. Like, from far, I feel like my skin looks pretty good. Like, it looks really nice, but once you just really look in, it is not anything that I really look for in a foundation. So I'm going to be inserting in some swatches right about now, and I will see you all in my final thoughts. All right, welcome back. It is 9 o'clock, so it's been 8 hours since I've been wearing this foundation, and I don't think my thoughts have really changed since the 4-hour check-in. I do have to say, though, this is probably the very first foundation review I've done where I don't need to touch up. Usually at the end, I'll kind of just blot my oils with my sponge, but definitely don't need to do that. It actually looks perfect right now. So had the foundation looked like this from the get-go, I would have liked this a lot more. But now my oils have finally kind of just taken this foundation and made it not so dry. So that's kind of just where we're at. I want to definitely play around with this one more and see if there's something more I can do. It just feels like maybe my skin is too dry for this currently. I think if you have oily skin, this would be a much better match for you, because like you saw in the 4-hour check-in, like the texture on my face, it was just emphasizing everything and making it look so much worse. It doesn't look like that now. It's actually, like I said, it almost looks like a second skin. I don't know whether that's the oils coming through or it's kind of just worn down a little bit more, but it looks so much better. I love how the foundation looks right now. I wish that this is how it looked when I put it on. I'm gonna continue to play around with it. I always do just a checkup video after 6 weeks or so and rank all the products that I've tried for the past couple of weeks and just test it some more, put it up with some primers because I didn't prime, I didn't set this with powder. How can I make this work better for me and not have myself waste money because I bought it, like I want to use it. However, that's really all I have to say about this. Basically, just to recap, I don't think you'll like this if you have dry skin. I think it'll be way too dry and powdery. It'll just cling to everything. It does claim to be best for combination skin, but really, I would say oily skin. If you've used this and you've had oily skin, I'd be really interested to see your thoughts on this in the comments. It also mentioned that it was really great for mature skin, and I questioned that theory because I feel like if you had thin, crepey skin a little bit more, that it would really cling to that and emphasize it since my texture was just so bad on my cheeks. But maybe it's really great. I don't know. I'd be really interested to hear other people's opinions on this. I've never seen a review or anything like that. I went into this really blind, but I feel like this has potential. I just need to find out the secret combination to make this work. But that's it for today's video. I hope you found this review helpful. Please give this video a thumbs up, like it, and I will see you all in my next one. Bye, everyone.